And welcome to another Cardinals Nest here on HBC Channel 25, the sports show devoted exclusively to St. Mary's University and its athletic program. Dean Beckman, Sports Information Director Donny Nadeau, and today our feature is women's basketball. That's why we have Mandy Pearson, the head coach for the women's basketball team, and Jessica Thone, one of 4 seniors on the squad and the starting guard for the Cardinals. And Mandy, Jess, thanks for being on the program. Jess, we'll start with you. I know you're a little bit nervous, so I thought let's get you out of the way right away here. You're from Woodbury, so tell us what brought you to St. Mary's and how you got started with basketball back in Woodbury.
Well, I started basketball when I was in like 2nd grade, I guess, and I've just been playing ever since. And then how I got here was, I wasn't actually originally coming here, but my brother is a year older, so he kind of had a big influence on why I'm here now, because I kind of wanted to stay close, sort of.
Sure.
So, yeah.
You know, one of the things we were talking off camera, Jess, a little bit about the influence. You talk about your brother, but the influence of your parents. They've been at every game for 4 years. Talk a little bit about that family tie and the fact that they are in the stands for all of your games.
Yeah, I mean, we have a very supportive family of each other. Especially my parents are very supportive of our academic and athletic careers. So, I mean, they've just always been there, which I kind of, take for granted because, I mean, I'm just so used to it. But now I kind of realize that, you know, they make such a huge effort having to come to all the games, and a lot of the other girls don't get their parents. So they're kind of like the team's parents because they're always there, and everybody kind of is like, oh, your parents are here, when they show up to the games and stuff. So it's fun.
Mandy, can you talk a little bit about, I like putting Jess on the spot, it's kind of fun, but can you talk a little bit about her progression from the time she came here as a freshman to now a senior, and really one of those people that's, closing in on 1,000 points in her career and has really been a standout for 4 years?
The biggest progression has been her leadership. Freshman year, I think she's always been very, very smart on the basketball court. Her basketball IQ is phenomenal, but the biggest progression has been her ability to communicate with her teammates, what she sees, what she thinks they should be doing, and they respect that a lot. So she's done a phenomenal job of just being a very strong leader, a vocal leader on the court for our program.
And Mandy, Jess's close family ties seem to mirror that of the teams. This seems to be a very close-knit group. You do have 4 seniors now. Talk about how you see their ability to play together on the court, but also their connections off the court and how they've gelled as a team.
That's very important. Every team that I've ever been a part of, the better that we got along, the more successful that we've been as a player and as a coach. And you see that a ton with our team. I mean, they're nuts, they're crazy, a bunch of different personalities, all very different, come from very different places, farms, small towns, big cities. Jess is from Woodbury. We have somebody that's from a 1A school. So I think just the different personalities, locations, and the fact that they're all very good people really helps us gel off the court. And that always helps teams on the basketball court as well.
Jess, you've made it obvious in terms of your play, what you can do on the court. What's your role off the court in terms of being one of the upperclassmen, one of those 4 seniors, and where do you see your role in terms of keeping this team together?
I think it's just kind of to show how we should be kind of to the St. Mary's community, just kind of be examples of how they should act when they're, even when they're freshmen all the way up to their senior year.
It's funny, we were talking off camera about the fact that you haven't played in so long. It's been almost 2 weeks since you guys were at the North Central tournament. Talk a little bit about that weekend, because it really, for a team like yours that's really finally getting to start playing, it's a chance to not only play some basketball, but also to gel as a team.
Yeah, I think it was really good for us to get out and play other teams other than teams in the MIAC too, because it gets to just, you get to go experience other things. And, the teams weren't as competitive as I would say that the teams in the MIAC are, but I think that kind of just showed because we beat them by 20 points or whatever it was. So, I think it kind of was like a boost of confidence just to show that all of our hard work at the beginning of the year with practicing and preseason has really paid off.
I think she's kind of downplaying, Mandy, that you guys are pretty good. The fact that you beat them by 20 points had nothing to do with the opponent, but you have a very solid team. You've got, Jess and Jamie Steffley back and Courtney Early back and Brittany Begowitz back, and so there's a lot of experience to build off of that playoff team from a year ago.
Yeah, I think we're very talented. and we need to continue to get better. The nice part is that we have in every single class solid players that can step in at any moment. You know, we have some people who aren't playing right now who are a little bit younger who are going to help us in the future. So that depth, I think, will hopefully continue to help us improve throughout the rest of the season.
And that's something you really haven't had in the past, is that maybe not just depth, but talented depth, where you say, you know, if something's not going right with the starting five you have people to put in there who are not only solid but very good players.
Yeah, and that's what you need in this league. The MIAC's very, very strong. And we've had some very talented players in the past, but when we would go, we couldn't go as deep as we can now. And not that they weren't talented, but I just think that that will help us a ton throughout the season. That helped us this year against Winona State, you know, in our exhibition game. We've had trouble competing with them in the past because we didn't have the talent coming off the bench that we do this year. You know, you see that at all levels, I think. High school, college, in the pros. The more depth a team has, the more successful they are on the floor.
Mandy, we had a chance to see that exhibition game against Winona State here on HBC. It was televised, and everyone came away, of course, very impressed. You ended up beating the Warriors in that game. Have you had to talk to the team at all about the higher expectations this year? You're picked 4th in the preseason MIAC coaches poll. Then you come out and beat Winona State in the exhibition game. Now go 2-0 from the tournament. Have you had to address that, or what is, you know, sort of the different expectations this year after reaching the playoffs last year?
I don't talk a lot about where I think we should be. Just try and mimic my expectations in coaching. Our coaching staff talks a lot about that. You know, halftime of the Winona State game, I go in the locker room, they're all giddy and cheery, and we got after them a little bit to show that our expectation isn't to be ahead by, I don't know what the score was, by 2 points, that we need to play better. Same thing when we were in our Alma game. We were up by quite a bit, started to slip, had to call timeout and let them know that we need to be good for 40 minutes a game. So that's how our coaching staff right now is trying to show our high expectations for the team.
Jess, I know when Dean mentioned that you beat Winona State in that exhibition game, a big smile on your face, and rightfully so. I mean, that's a huge win for this program. And tell me a little bit about how that felt. You know, it's an exhibition game, but you know, Winona State, a Division II team, and you guys come out and took care of business, and that had to really boost your confidence a lot.
I think it just really shows how far our team has come since my freshman year. I mean, the coaching staff and the players, everybody included, like, it's just such a huge, like, step forward from, I mean, my freshman year, we were getting beat by them by, I don't even know how many points, and now we come out my senior year and we beat them. It just shows that, like, where the program's heading is just in, like, a right direction.
And how about your expectations for this year?
I mean, they're high. I mean, they wouldn't, anything else, like, they wouldn't be lower than anything. But every year I come in with high expectations. I mean, everybody does. But this year, I don't think it's so much that she has to talk about the expectations. I think everybody just kind of knows. I mean, we're a very old team now. We have some new girls, but I mean, even they kind of realize, like, where we want to be and where we want to end up. So.
How important was it to make the conference tournament last year? As you head into this year, that had to be in itself a nice confidence booster for you, but I'm assuming this year just getting to the conference tournament isn't enough.
Yeah, I think it just, all the hard work that we've put in over the years has just paid off, and it was just kind of like a nice reassurance thing, but now it's kind of like, well, we've been there, done that, let's move on to something bigger and better. And
Coach, that starts Wednesday night. You've got St. Olaf, the team that you beat in that conference tournament opener, is here at St. Mary's for the conference opener. Talk a little bit about that game against the Olies and what we should expect from them as well as from St. Mary's.
It's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle. Their coaching staff has done a really good job of building their depth up as well. Their strength is going to be their post play. You know, they pound the ball inside. They have a new freshman who is a very good scorer. So, you know, we've talked with our team a lot about it yesterday during scouting report, and I think even a little bit in Monday's practice about limiting their easy baskets. So our goal is to come out and play as tough as defense as we possibly can, making sure that we don't give them any easy looks. If we can contest every shot and make them work for shots and not turn the ball over and not give up offensive rebounds, it's going to be a pretty interesting game at the end.
Well, I was going to say, certainly post play is an area of strength. Not only do you have the great guards, but you've got Jamie Steffley on the inside, Courtney Early. They make a great tandem. Their communication, from what I have seen, seems to be stronger than ever on the inside this year.
Yeah, they work very well together. You know, all four of the post players that we have that are playing some minutes right now communicate well, are pretty intelligent basketball players, and they've just learned how to feed off of each other a little bit. It's fun to watch Courtney Early and Jamie out there because Courtney is constantly talking to Jamie and Jamie's constantly talking to Courtney, and their defense reflects that. Even offensively a little bit. We're going to try and do some more high-low stuff this season.
Can you talk a little bit about your schedule? Because I always find it interesting that you basically get 3 non-conference games. So your whole season, every game is so important because you're talking about conference playoffs, making it in that top 6, and you've got 3 of your 25 games are all you have in a non-conference schedule. Does that make it tough for you guys to play because you have so many conference games that really, really count?
Tough, yes, but exciting, I think is a better word for it, because it doesn't matter if you're playing the worst team in our league or the best team in the league. Each game is equally important. So we don't get days off with our conference play. So I enjoy it. I think our players do as well. It just makes it a little bit more competitive, I think, every night.
Not to make you get sentimental or anything, Jess, but we've kind of harped on the fact that you have 4 seniors on this team. Have you thought at all about, hey, this is my last go-around, this is my last season? Have you thought anything like that?
Sometimes that thought pops in my head, but it's just like kind of it's just a weird thought to think about. I kind of, like, when practices start dragging on, I'm kind of like, okay, this is the last time you're ever going to have to do this, so just, like, try not to, like, think negatively, try to turn things into positive, because it is my last year. And I mean, I know looking back, I'm going to be like, as much as I didn't like practicing, I'm kind of wish I was back out there right now. But, so.
Yeah, good. Mandy, who are some other players, maybe not necessarily cracking the starting lineup, but players that we'll expect to hear more from this year, or any new players that you'd like to point out?
Our whole roster?
It is a deep squad, and we did deep.
Yeah, I like everybody, but I think you're going to see a few of our guards that will really stand out. Sarah Schoenthaler, Octavia Brown, Bridget Pethke are going to be 3 of the best defensive guards in our league. And I think that's going to help us a ton. You know, one of our goals since Jess has been here is to take some pressure off her, because in high school she didn't believe she was a very good defensive player. And so she came in her freshman year and she often had to guard the best defender on the other team. And we're hoping this year that we can give her a little bit of a break defensively, so offensively she can do a little bit more. But I think you'll see a lot out of those 3 players. You know, Courtney Athnos, I think, is going to be kind of a silent player for us, because she's probably our most physical post, and she's always played solid minutes when she's been in there coming off the bench. So I think we can expect her to be more of an impact player this year as well.
Do you find with the depth that you have that practices are maybe a little more competitive in that, like you said, Jess would always have to go against the opposing team's best player. Well, now she's got to go against players on her own team who are that good. Does that depth and that talent make practices a little more fun?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's way more fun when you never know which team on the court at practice is going to win the drill or the scrimmage or whatever we're doing. So that's going to help us. It's going to help us play for 40 minutes a game, I think. They're not going to take as many breaks. But it's a lot more fun to see that every single day.
You know, Mandy, as you said, we really could talk about the whole roster. One player we haven't talked about yet, and maybe just touch on her, Brittany Begrowitz. Always around the basketball. I think for whatever reason, just a little bit underrated, because she's always around the ball, getting some shots underneath, playing good defense, getting a ton of rebounds. She's an important member of this team. Oh,
very. She's probably, next to Jess Thone, has the second best basketball IQ on our team. She's very smart defensively. She's very smart offensively. She makes good passes. Like you said, grabs rebounds, gets some putbacks. She can shoot from the outside. She can drive. You know, trying to get her to look to score a little bit more this year. But one of my favorite things, she's right now one of the only players on our team that'll take charges. You know, I'm trying to talk Jess into doing it. That's going really well. One time this year, maybe. But she brings a ton to our team. You know, last year you could see she was injured at the beginning of the season, and we struggled in those games. part of it had to do with playing some younger people. And once she came back, you know, whether she was in for 20 minutes or 10 minutes, the impact that she has on the team is very good. You know, you're not going to see where Jamie just has a knack for scoring. You see Brittany doing a ton of stuff for us that people don't notice. And I think a lot of that comes from her background. Her mom played at DePaul, very strong basketball mind. I don't remember if her dad played basketball or not, but I think she just grew up in the gym with her mom constantly and has just learned how to play the game very well that way.
One final question, Jess. For years now, you have had to do a lot of the scoring. They have looked to you to be kind of a leader scoring-wise. Going into your senior year now, with all the depth that you have, do you feel a little less pressure?
Yeah, I absolutely love it. Like, having more kids and more depth, it just makes, like, everything's not all about, you know, me and Jamie, or, you know, like, it's just not so much everything is on my shoulders, which I just absolutely love.
Right. Yeah, and it should open things up for you, too,
exactly.
because now they do have to pay attention to everyone out there. So.
Yeah.
All right, Mandy Pearson, Jess Thone, thanks for being on the show. Good luck here the rest of the season.
Thank you.
All right, stay tuned. Donny and I will be back to talk about the rest of the week in St. Mary's athletics when we come back here on the Cardinals Nest on HBC.
A state-of-the-art fiber optic network. Sure, you've all heard that. But what does it mean? Well, if you're an HBC customer,
it's television in crystal clear high definition and whole home DVR. Blazing fast internet speeds, perfect for gaming or movies. Phone service with your choice of features, including unlimited long distance. And now, HBC has expanded service throughout much of southeast Minnesota. Call today and see what it's like to be on a state-of-the-art fiber optic network with a local company receiving national recognition for their service.
Winona Homes was offered a deal from another company.
I switched to another company because they made some promises and I was going to get a better rate, so I switched.
But when she tried their deal, she ran into some issues.
The other company that I was with wasn't local. You couldn't even get somebody to come to your office.
At HBC, customer service is our #1 priority for your business. Let's just say Jenny is a lot happier now.
I have never had such fast customer service.
To see how HBC can help your business, call Melanie at 474-5802. So you know how some cable companies have these bundle deals where if you purchase their TV, telephone, and internet together, you save? At HBC, we're taking it one step further. Get your TV and phone service through HBC, and we'll give you internet absolutely free. That's right, free. And you still save money. Some packages can save you up to $660 a year, and it's all backed by our 30-day guarantee. The best part? Free internet is available to all customers, new and existing. Go to hbci.com to see which free internet package is right for you, or call 888-474-9995.
And we're back here on the Cardinals Nest. Dean Beckman, Donny Nadeau. Donny's the sports information director for the Cardinals. And we talked women's basketball in the feature segment today. Men's basketball also starting conference play on Wednesday against St. Olaf. It's a doubleheader at the St. Mary's Gymnasium. And the Cardinals men's team off to an 0-3 start. And Donny dealing with some injuries. Michael Burfind hasn't played in the last 2 games. And, of course, he's the returning all-conference player from a year ago, so they've really missed him in 2 of their first 3 games.
Yeah, no question. It's been tough without Michael there, but you know, as I talked to Coach Landrum about that, one of the things he said is you know, we can't replace Michael, but it's giving some of our younger guys an opportunity to step in and get some good quality minutes and some good quality experience. And right now, they head into the Olaf game. Yeah, they're 0-3, but you know, they're playing some pretty good basketball. And talking to Coach Landrum, he made, you know, there was about a 5-minute stretch in the first half of the Northwestern game, and then about a 5-minute stretch in the second half of the North Central game that really seemed to cost them. And their last game against Dominican went right down to the buzzer, and Dominican hit a 3-pointer right at the buzzer to beat them 56-53. So the games are actually a lot closer than it may appear, and I think that the Cardinals are probably a little better than people may think they are. I know that Coach Landrum is very high on the young guys he's got, and you got somebody like Evan Peterson leading the way from the point, and he's just been an Iron Man for the team right now. He's played in 110 of the 120 minutes you can play, including every minute of the last 2 games. In both of those games, and so he's seeing a lot of minutes, playing some very good basketball. But I think that the young guys are really starting to to feel comfortable in the collegiate game, and I know that the Olaf game is going to be a great experience for them because the MIAC is a tough conference, and I think it's probably tougher than any of the 3 teams that they played so far. So it'll be a good experience for them, and I know that they really can't wait to get Michael back. You know, concussions are a tough injury, and you just never know when somebody's going to come back. So it'll be good to get him back in the lineup. They're hoping Monday against Hamlin that he'll be back in the lineup.
Well, I want to talk a little bit more there about Evan Peterson having played every minute of the last 2 games. I mean, he's not at a position where you can occasionally jog up the court. He's at the point guard position, and he plays at 100 miles an hour. So that is showing great conditioning early in the season.
Oh, no
for
question.
a sophomore.
And the fact that it's not just the conditioning. I mean, he had 23 points against North Central, so he's scoring. He had 7 assists, which tied his career high against Dominicans. So he's doing it all right now. And I'm sure that he's taking a little bit more on his shoulders because Michael's not there, and he's one of the experienced people back. And, you know, if you look at the lineup that Coach Landrum is going to be putting on the court, it's so different from what they had last year. In that really Evans the only starter that'll be, you know, that had started last year without Michael in there. So it's going to be different for them. And I think he's carrying the brunt of that workload, and knowing Evan doesn't mind it one bit. And I think that he certainly is going to help out some of those younger guys, make them better. You know, Will Swigum and Mark Schumacher and Sam Ruth are all certainly benefiting from the experience that Evan and Lamont Hall and hopefully when Tom Gores gets back, you know, he'll provide some of that experience as well.
Yeah, you know, we talked about the depth on the women's team. You can see Coach Landrum starting to build that depth on the men's team. You mentioned Schumacher. He's averaging in double figures, 10.3 for a freshman. And Will Swigum, also a freshman, 8 points per game. And yes, that's been a little bit with Burfind out, but I think they were going to see significant time anyway.
Oh, no question. Those 3, you know, you throw Sam Ruth in there, those 3 freshmen are going to see a lot of time. And, you know, until they can get completely healthy, they're going to see probably more time than maybe Coach Landrum would like them to see this early in their careers. But, yeah, they're going to see a lot of time. And I think that we're going to be seeing those 3 names, along with Evan and Michael. We're going to be seeing them a lot because they're going to be very talented players. And I'm actually looking forward to Wednesday because I haven't seen them play yet. So they've had their first 3 games on the road. So you know, everything I've seen has been via box scores or from talking to Coach Landrum. So it'll be fun to see them play. I know that Coach Landrum said, if nothing else, they are very exciting to watch. They're up and down the court. They've got you know, a lot of energy, and you know, it's going to be a good product on the court. And Wednesday night will be a lot of fun with both teams playing at home.
Donny, in men's hockey, they're coming off of a sweep of Hamlin, and then they had a non-conference game against Adrian College, I think in the top 5, right, in the country, and they go there to Michigan, lose that game 7-3, and then after that they play a national team.
Yeah, it was quite a weekend for the Cardinals. They were up at Adrian, Michigan, taking on the Bulldogs. They're ranked number 3 in the country at the time, and you know, for 2 periods, it was a 4-3 game. Adrian leading going into the 3rd period, and then they got a really nice goal to go up 5-3, and then St. Mary's just kind of ran out of steam and ended up losing that one 7-3. But then they turned around the next day and they traveled to Ann Arbor, Michigan, to play the U.S. National Development Under-18 team. And really, to put it in a nutshell, what that team is it's a bunch of Division I caliber players who are playing for Team USA. And they lost 10-4. And while that sounds, you know, maybe not so hot, losing 10-4, but when you consider that that team played St. Thomas, the reigning MIAC champion, they beat them 8-1. They tied the Gophers 2-2, and they tied Notre Dame 1-1. So you take those 3 teams, they scored 4 goals against them. St. Mary scored 4 goals. So there's certainly a lot of positives to be taken out of a game like that. You certainly can't give up 10 goals, but watching that game online, they were fun to watch. They're very talented, and you know, I think that you have to give St. Mary's a lot of credit. I thought they played very well against a very talented team. You take the Adrian game, and you consider that Adrian actually beat the U18 team. So you know, St. Mary's is they're where they want to be. They just, you know, I know the one disappointing thing that Coach Moore talked about the Adrian game was, as they say, they want to be considered among the best in the country, and to be considered among the best, you've got to beat the best. And so I think that he was a little disappointed with the final score. I think he was very happy with probably about 45 minutes of that game, And what they need to do is take that 45 minutes and make it 60 minutes and make it a complete game.
Yep. Teddy bear toss on Friday night when they host St. Olaf, and that goes to a good cause. People are encouraged to bring a new or gently used teddy bear, and after the Cardinals score their first goal, throw it out onto the ice.
It's a lot of fun. I think that it becomes, I was talking to Coach Moore about this, and it's one of those, volunteer things that they do, and they donate all of the teddy bears to a great cause. And I know that in the locker room, it becomes quite a competition to see who's going to score that first goal and ignite the teddy bears thrown on the ice. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of people that that come from town, and please bring your teddy bears, and when we score, throw them out on the ice and celebrate with us in terms of that first goal, and then hopefully we put together several more goals after that, and you're seeing some video here of a couple years ago when they scored, and what a great it's a great idea. The concept came from Coach Egan, and it's a lot of fun. The players really enjoy it. And, like I said, it goes to a great cause.
Well, and it's always a full arena that night, but St. Mary's finds a way to stuff them in on Teddy Bear Night. In women's hockey action, Donnie, unfortunately for the Cardinals, a 3-game losing skid now after having lost to St. Kate's twice, and then the College of St. Scholastica right before Thanksgiving break.
Yeah, the St. Scholastica game was a great game. It was a very interesting storyline there in that Mackenzie Klimek from St. Mary's and her sister Jordan Klimek plays for St. Scholastica, and her father arranged this game to be played in Hastings. So it was a neutral site game, but Hastings is the hometown of both girls. So it was a really neat night. They honored both Mackenzie and Jordan's grandparents and parents for being there, and they got to drop the ceremonial first puck. And it was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, the elder Klimek from St. Scholastica got to have the bragging rights, but really a neat concept. And I know that I talked to Coach Manor, and they're going to do it again next year. And he certainly would have liked to have a better outcome, but a good game against a very, very talented Scholastica team. Brianna Peterson scored St. Mary's goal, and so she continues to pick up right where she left off last year and is really proving to be that go-to scorer for the Cardinals this year.
So the elder Jordan gets the bragging rights. Encourage everyone to go to stmarysports.com. Donnie, you have a great video up there with some help from Jamie Steffley. You've been doing a series about what it's like to be a player in a certain sport where they wear a video camera on their head, and they'll participate in their sport. And I know you've done soccer, you've done volleyball. Well, the latest one up there is swimming and diving. I think this is the best one to date. It's about 9 minutes long, and it shows what it's like to be a swimmer at St. Mary's. I love the diving one where they go off the diving board. You see a lot of underwater shots. Really a fun one, I thought.
It really is, and really it's one of those things that you can utilize a GoPro camera because you get to take it underwater. And most of the credit for this video, you have to give it to Coach Lindquist. Eric and I talked about it for a number of days and how we wanted to set this up and how we wanted it to work. And I think the neatest video that you're going to see is the swimmers from below. Coach Lindquist put on all of his diving gear, and he went underwater and laid on the bottom of the pool and actually took video of his swimmers as they practiced going back and forth through the lanes. And a lot of fun. Coach Jeremiah Jackson, the diving coach, had all the divers wear it, so they were up on the high dive and on the low dive. And I think it really does give you a sense of what it's like to be a collegiate swimmer, because you actually get to feel what they're feeling and you get to see what they're seeing. And Jamie Steffley does a great job of editing those videos, and I certainly can't thank her enough for her efforts there. And a lot of fun, and we're looking to do more. Men's hockey's next up for our video, so it'll be a lot of fun.
I want to see Andy Scheib put that. I want to know what it's like to be a goalie, because I'll never be a real one myself. Well, that's going to do it for the Cardinals Nest this week. Thanks for watching. For Donny Nadeau, I'm Dean Beckman. Be sure to tune in again next week for another Cardinals Nest right here on HBC Channel 25.